Hi and welcome to Happy Kitty Kitchen. Today I'm treating myself to a wholesome lunch, and this is definitely a comfort dish that can still look fancy depending on how you plate it. You've got your juicy and crispy chicken resting on a bit of mashed potatoes with a side of Brussel sprouts and drizzled in black garlic gravy. There are no specific measurements, but I'm showing you the steps and ingredients so you can replicate it or adjust it to your taste and style. So let's get started with seasoning the chicken pieces and starting with salt, then topping it with celery salt, then sweet smoked paprika or regular paprika, and finally onion powder and garlic powder. And make sure to rub and massage these seasonings all over the chicken pieces and let them rest for a minimum of 20 minutes so the flavors really soak into the chicken. Now for the gravy that I'm making, I have a bowl of homemade black garlic stock, which I made by boiling a bunch of black garlic scraps and peels. You could substitute this with regular vegetable stock, chicken stock, or just dissolve a cube of vegetable stock or Maggi into water. So because my black garlic stock does not have any additional seasonings, I seasoned this with salt, celery salt, black pepper, and paprika. And I think you could skip this step since many supermarket stock cubes already have those ingredients in there. I'll set the gravy base aside and start boiling my potatoes, which I've cut up into smaller cubes so that they cook faster, and just added a bit of salt into the water as well. Now in a pan, I've got some oil heating up there and added a bit of butter to slightly enhance the flavor of the skin that is going to crisp up on the chicken. Leave the chicken skin down on the pan undisturbed so it gets real crispy. And depending on the type of pan or stovetop and even the piece of chicken that you're cooking, the cooking time will be different, and it could be anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes on each side. So after a while, I decided to flip over the legs and top up some more oil. And then after checking that the potatoes are done by piercing them with a fork, I've started taking them out. As the chicken is frying and potatoes are cooling down, I've washed and cleaned my Brussels sprouts, which I quickly drop into the boiling water that the potatoes were cooking in, just for enough time to soften them a bit and blanch them. I'm not going to cook them all the way through. Then, as you can see, I'm mashing up the potatoes and then searing the sides of the chicken thighs for a bit. But basically the chicken is done and I can move on to frying the other pieces of chicken, which in my case are chicken breasts and tenders that I've coated with the same seasonings, except I've also coated them in some all-purpose flour since they don't have any skin on them, and I want a slightly crisp coating, and all-purpose flour will help get that crispy coating. After the Brussels sprouts have been in the boiling water for about 5 minutes, I'm going to cut them in halves, then pop them into the oven to crisp up on the outside. Then I'm removing the cooked chicken from the pan and I'm going to start with my roux or gravy in a small pot. Start with adding a stick of butter and 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, like you're making bechamel sauce. Cook and mix until slightly golden, then start adding in the black garlic stock to thin it out and keep whisking or mixing. As you can see, I also added a spoonful or 2 of the gravy into the mashed potatoes to soften them, and also add in some more flavors because there's butter in there and black garlic. So now here are where things went wrong for me. I ran out of black garlic stock to keep thinning out the gravy with, so I started adding in some milk like I was making regular roux. But the stock was very diluted and weak flavored anyway, and the milk of course has no seasoning, so I had to add in vegetable stock powder and get some flavor back into the gravy. All in all, it was a bit of an experimental mess that took a while to correct. So if you don't want to go through all this experimental mess, I would advise that you just make a regular bechamel sauce to drizzle over your chicken, but basically that is the consistency that you are looking for. I know this seemed like a lot to do for some people, but it really wasn't, and it was super delicious, satisfying, and restaurant quality like food. As for the chicken breasts that I pan fried, I used those the next day to make chicken club sandwiches, or you can also cut them up into cubes and use them in a pasta dish, while also using the excess gravy sauce that you have left over from making this dish. It's super easy to get creative when half the work is already done for you. So yeah, if you made it this far into the video, thanks for watching and thanks for your time. Have a great day from Happy Kitty Kitchen. Bye!